northeast corner of the courthouse. I invite you now to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just kind of a notice to the public. The Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public during the time allowed for discussion. You are requested to approach the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given the opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate, and a roll call vote will follow. First item is the approval or the amendment of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Patton.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. Item number 2, this is one of those awards, again, we always like to give out and like to acknowledge, and we got a years of service recognition, and she just now wandered in. Isn't that amazing? So I'm going to ask Melanie Ewalt to please come up front. You know, you got to look at things and you say, how do people start careers? And, you know, this lady came to the county as a young girl from the Fairway store. This being her first full-time position. And through the course of the years, she's gained interest in baking and making fun and goody stuff. And she's a runner. I happened to catch her one day as she was finishing a run with a dozen glazed donuts in her hand. And there's nothing more fitting to see that. You know, she's a runner, she's a competitor. She ran half marathons, but the marathon she's run with the county has lasted for 30 years. And I tell you what, you've been a friend for my 8 years up here, and I appreciate everything. And what you do for the county and the GIS department is remarkable. We get people all the time that are saying, well, they go up, get Mel, gives them the maps of things. And so you've been an integral part of our courthouse working day for 30 years, and hopefully you'll be able to last another 30 years, and you'll finish the full marathon. So, Mel, on behalf of Marshall County, I'd like to thank you for your service with us and present you with this. Oh, we gotta get a picture taken. Is that it, okay?
You look good.
So do you. It's supposed to click, isn't it, Bennett? I mean, you got the lens cap off and everything? All right. Here we go again.
Yeah, turn the certificate.
Thank you very much. 30 years, that's a long time.
No words of wisdom?
Moving on now to the consent agenda. This is approval of the minutes from our regular session of March 22nd, 2016. Number 4 is the annual manure management plan update, Prestige Farms of Iowa, LLC, ID number 67142, PI-341. An annual update received and placed on file with no changes to the manure management plan, 4-year P-index added. Item 5, accept manure management plan update from Bill Havalka. Section 10, ID number 62692. This is an annual update report received and placed on file with no changes made to the manure management plan, 4-year P-index added. Number 6, annual manure management plan update, JT Farms East Site, ID number 63208. Manure management plan update received and placed on file, no changes to their manure management plan. Item 7, manure management plan update from Dennis A. Anderson, ID number 62848. Manure management plan update received and placed on file, no changes made to his manure management plan. And item number 8, approval of the claims is audited and authorize the county auditor and recorder to issue payment of same. Listing the claims paid at this meeting will be included with all claims paid for the month of April. The April list of claims will be a part of the first meeting in May. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. Moving on, item number 9, approval of the personnel action. This is to hire Dave Eubanks, Secondary Road Department, temporary part-time as needed, rate of pay $20.90 per hour, effective April 5, 2016. Paul Geilenfeld?
Dave recently retired from that position, from the sign crew out in our shop, and we have not filled his spot on the sign crew yet. We've had a couple guys that have kind of tried it out, and what Dave's going to be able to do is continue the handoff of the computer side of running the sign shop, and he was doing most of the computer work as far as the day-to-day and the keeping of the inventory. And the other thing that's really going to be helpful is if he can go through one more inventory with us, because when June hits and we're going through inventory, it's not exactly the same the way we count, the sign blanks, and they count every face and every type of sign that they have, and it's something that takes somebody to go through with Dave just to help us out. So that'll kind of get us through this little gap where we don't have that position filled.
Are you going to try to hire somebody and have him train them? Dave
It's
train them?
it's between that and also handing off some of the computer stuff back to Al, because between Al and Dave doing the sign work, Dave was doing most of the computer side of it, and Al's getting the hang of it, and that's going to help with just to have Dave around with that.
What do you figure that would be, it's 4 months, 120 days?
Right. And any of these part-time positions,
160.
it's capped at 4 months, so then they have to be gone for at least a month. And I think Dave has already informed me he's not interested in plowing snow, so.
Okay. Well, it's an easy winter this
Yeah.
winter, maybe next winter will be an easy winter.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve personnel hire of David Eubanks, Secondary Road Department, temporary part-time as needed, rate of pay of $20.90 per hour, effective April 5, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. All right, item B, under approved personnel items, Dennis Zitzow, Secondary Road Department, again, temporary part-time is needed for the pay rate of $20.90 per hour, effective today.
And this is just bringing string back to help us with rock checking when we're doing our countywide granular resurfacing. He was the one that would check the trucks at the quarry and get them, all keep track of how many are going to what mile, and it was something that he just did really well. And if we don't bring him back to do it, then we'd have to take a driver out of the seat and put them down there checking rocks. So it just allows us to get more trucks on the road.
Have we replaced him on the,
We did, but it still would be, we've got trucks it would just detract from another spot where we're working if we don't have a rock checker. And then the other thing that's true is that we don't have anybody that really wants to do that rock checker job either.
How long do you think you're going to need string for doing this?
It's, the rock resurfacing will probably only go for, end of May. So it's just a matter of, if we get completed there, I'm not sure if there'd be anything else that we would assign him to.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would motion that we approve the personnel hire or rehire, so to speak, of Dennis Zitzow, Secondary Road Department, temporary part-time as needed, rate of pay $20.90 an hour, effective April 5th, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
all right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? I guess I just want to add, I guess I don't know where we're getting the $20.90 per hour for part-time. Is that?
That's the
Contract.
part-time, that's the part-time rate we use for plow drivers and any of our
Oh, for the winter,
operators.
okay.
And it's just it's the standard rate that we use for our part-time help with the shop.
And we're probably
Is
better
that
off
in the
bringing these
union
guys
contract?
I don't think it's a union covered position as far as and that's part of the reason for the 4 months too, is that they would be entitled to some representation. But it's, in the past, it's been the rate we've used, and we've increased that part-time rate similarly with the increases in the group though, to try to keep it consistent.
And I would think we're better off bringing those guys back since we don't have to train them. We don't
Right.
spend time training them because we're.
Yeah.
All right, we got a motion and a second followed by discussion. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. All right, item C, under the approved personnel actions, hire Tanner Lynn Parrish in the Sheriff's Office jailer, full-time rate of pay of $17.25. This will be effective on April 11th, 2016. And I believe that this is just a replacement position. This is not a
Yes.
new hire, this is a replacement
Yep.
position.
And Tanner hasn't worked there before then? He's just starting out?
No, that's his dad is Todd.
Yeah. So
Okay,
Tanner just started.
okay.
Tanner will be in the jail. His father is a patrol deputy.
Okay, okay. Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the personnel hire of Tanner Lynn Parrish, Sheriff's Office Jailer, full-time rate pay of $17.25 per hour, effective April 11th, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. All right, moving on to item D. Hire Kate Cope, Conservation Summer Temporary Seasonal Rate of $10 an hour, effective May 9th, 2016. Mike, is there anything you want to say to that? I mean, this is what we quite honestly encourage, you know, some departments do to fill a gap, is to hire temporary for the 4 months, and you're utilizing this. Now, is this all this the only one you're gonna hire, or is this our second? That's two now, yeah, okay.
What line of things are you gonna have Kate and Tanner doing?
They'll be doing the summer seasonal maintenance, mowing, trash pickup, and then assistance with the full-time park personnel with the projects that we're
Okay.
working on.
All right, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we hire Kate Cope, Conservation, Summer Temporary Seasonal Rate of Pay, $10 an hour, effective May 9th, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
A motion and a second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. All right, moving to the final one, item E, hire Tanner Thompson, Conservation Summer Temporary Seasonal Rate of Pay, $10 an hour, effective May 9th, 2016. Same program. This gets our two part-time people to fill that gap and the void, to help conservation through the first 4 months of the summer.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the personnel hire of Tanner Thompson, Conservation Summer Temporary Seasonal Rate Pay of $10 per hour, effective May 9th, 2016.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that with the following comment. Nice last name, but he's no relation to me.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. All right, moving on to item number 10, secondary road. This is award of contract project STP-S-CO64, parentheses 123-5E-64. Discussion and possible action on to award of the contract with Manats of Brooklyn, Iowa, in the amount of $2,222,000.80. This project consists of HMA resurfacing and cold-in-place recycling of Wallace Avenue from Highway 96 south to Garland Road. This project is funded with federal highway funds and farm-to-market funds. This project was let at the DOT in Ames, Iowa, on March 15th, 2016. Paul, I'll let you, if there's any explanation further than that.
Okay, well, you had you just read off what I gave you for the information, so.
Listen, I tried, now I'm gonna put you on the spot, tell me
We-
what you're gonna do.
We did get a very competitive, we got multiple bids on our asphalt work, which we're happy about, and we have not worked with Manats in the past here, so it worked out because Manats already had under contract the Highway 96 work that's going from 14 over to Gladbrook. And so that they were going to be close with a portable plant, and I think that's what allowed them to get a really competitive bid in. But they came in under our estimate, and we're really happy to approve this.
And again, it's funded by federal highway funds and farm to market.
It's partial federal money and farm to market. It's a pretty good chunk. It's a good sized project. I mean, 6 miles of cold in place, and it isn't something we can afford to do every year. But this is a stretch that takes a lot of truck traffic, and it's gonna see some definite improvement.
What did they give us for a start and an end date?
They have.
Or is it a working
They're always
days?
awarded on working days. I have received communications from the DOT on requesting haul road use for the Highway 96 project, and it sounded like that was going to start in late May. So I have no reason to think that they wouldn't be working on ours at the same time when they're, in that same, it's going to be early construction season work. So I would expect May, June is when that's likely going to happen.
Okay.
All right, I would entertain a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to award this contract to Manhattan Incorporated of Brooklyn, Iowa, in the amount of $2,222,009.80, and authorize the chairman to sign the contracts and bond after submittal of approved documents.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Raymond Bauer,
Yes. All right, moving on to item number 11, secondary road fiscal year 2016 Iowa DOT budget amendment. And I'll just let you, Mr. Geilenfeld, I won't read anymore.
This is the DOT submittal for our budget that we just recently amended, and what it does is just brings the DOT budget in line with the changes that we made to our current fiscal year budget.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the amended 2016 Iowa DOT budget for the Marshall County Secondary Road Department.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that motion.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
This is something we do on an annual basis.
Correct. Usually we do an amendment. It's not a, well, we've done one every year since I've been here.
Oh, that's good. Well. Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Raymond Bauer.
Yes. Item 12, secondary road fiscal year 2017 Iowa DOT budget. Discussion and possible action on the approval of the fiscal year 2017 Iowa DOT budget from the Marshall County Secondary Road Department.
And this is the same document, the same budget. We're taking our recently approved fiscal 17 budget and turning it into the DOT on their form. It's not quite as many line items as what we have in our local budget, but it groups them together, and also it takes into account and shows our ending fund balance. So we include that in our approved budget to the DOT as well.
Why, I gotta say, why do we have to, it's a different budget, but still, the bottom dollar is still the same.
It's
That
It's
has
really
to
just,
go to
it's
the-
really just reporting to the DOT what we're spending of our funds, what we intend to spend of our revenue on road purposes, and which road purposes. So it's equipment, and it's, different types of maintenance, day labor work, and it has to then jive with what we turn in every year for our annual report. So like you'll see it'll be September when we report to the DOT, this is what, we budgeted this, they knew that, this is what we really spent, and right down to the penny on everything that we spent on road purposes.
And we're probably going to see a little bit more reporting from the engineer's office to the state with recent legislation that, did they get it passed through both houses?
I do not know.
Okay, I think it's just about done, but that will be for more reporting on what's being accomplished with the additional road use dollars that are coming in. It's just more reporting. Paul already has to tell them exactly what we do with what fund currently.
And we're voluntarily telling the state what we're doing with the extra dime, because we want to give the legislators the feedback that what they, did for us is appreciated and needed.
But I think it's good. It's good for the transparency so that
Yes.
the folks that are paying the tax actually know that the dollars that they're contributing are actually going to refurbishing what the intent was.
And we wanted to make sure the legislators that there was plenty of argument in Des Moines about it, that the legislators that voted for it can show their, opponents, look, this
Yeah.
is why this is being done.
All right, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the fiscal year 2017 Iowa DOT budget for the Marshall County Secondary Road Department.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Raymond Bauer.
Yes. All right, moving on to item 13, secondary road fiscal year 2017 Iowa DOT construction program. And again, I'll just turn it back over to you, Paul.
And this is another document that we have to submit to the DOT every year by April 15th. And it lines out what we intend to do for construction projects for each of the next 5 years. I caution people because it doesn't always mean it's an automatic that because something is programmed in 2020 that it absolutely gets built in 2020, because projects can have issues with right-of-way, or they can have issues with, there can be funding changes in, that many years out. So we're using today's funding to estimate what our funding is going to be in the future and program the projects for development.
And I think it's important everybody does know that we, you not only have your plan, but we've got our 5-year plan, and that we work on and work with when figuring out a budget. So it's not something that we just, and you've been very, your department and you have been very good on exploring new opportunities, new things that need to be done. And somebody may come in with a question about why isn't this getting fixed? Well, it may already be on our 5-year plan. So it's just important that everybody does know that we are somewhat organized and we have a plan to move forward with, I guess.
Yes, but it also needs to be mentioned how many years was the Crooked Bridge in the 5-year plan, and it's now being done.
Okay,
I'm
but
glad you mentioned that.
it was in a
and not
plan,
me.
wasn't it? We always had a plan.
Because are they tearing it
It
down
is under
today?
construction. Yesterday the road was closed, and it is, the Crooked Bridge is being demolished.
Dismantled?
Yes.
At this moment.
Yep.
As we speak.
Are we saving chunks to be able to sell as souvenirs?
There actually is some rail that there was a local that maybe wanted a piece of the rail for their garden or something, so if anybody wants to get something, they're welcome to it.
Can we move on now, Paul?
I'm not the chairman.
Okay. I would entertain a motion on this, and if we vote no, I don't have a problem.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would move to approve FY 2017 Iowa DOT construction program for Marshall County Secondary Road Department.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. Good job, Paul.
We were discussing herding cats this morning.
Yes, we were. That did. All right, moving on to our next item, item 14, request the use of the courthouse grounds, Marshall County Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence. And we've got Tricia Jones here with us. And if you'd like to step to the microphone and explain to us what you've got going. And
I'll do my best.
Oh.
I'm out of Clarendon, so I'm like all.
you're out of Claritin.
Yeah, I gotta go to Walmart after this.
Do we need the county pharmacist to?
Yes, that would be amazing. What it is it's, we have victims, survivors, and secondary survivors decorate T-shirts, and it's kind of like a depictful, like art therapy type of display. And I will be on hand throughout the whole thing and do a little speaking. And if anybody has any triggers or anything, I'll be there. But it should be hopefully more of an uplifting, awareness, colorful type of display than hopefully depressive.
And you're talking about a clothesline display.
Yeah, like hanging the decorated T-shirts on the
Okay.
clothesline.
Now, you need to get with our Buildings and Grounds Director, Lucas Badke.
Okay,
And if you just go through Lisa, she can get you connected
okay.
with Lucas, and he can help you as far as putting it up.
Oh,
And,
awesome. That would be
and,
wonderful.
Mainly because we got fiber optic out in the yard, and we don't like to dig a lot of holes if we don't know where we're digging. So,
Well, I planned on like building a platform with this.
Oh, okay. But still get with Lucas.
Yeah,
Okay.
And,
okay.
Yeah, he'll help you.
and this is gonna be for Friday on the 29th of April, from
Yep.
10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay.
And in the event of rain, if it has to come inside, understand there's a lot of goings on in the courthouse, especially in the rotunda area with motor vehicle. So please,
Like
if that
against a wall
happens,
type of-
yeah, that's
yeah.
fine. But if you've got a lot of people, make sure we leave the stairways open so people can come and go conduct their business.
Okay, I sure will. Thank you.
All right, any questions for Tricia while we got her up there? And she's still working on the clear.
She got her voice going.
Yeah, she's doing good now.
Yeah.
It usually is
Thanks for
there most
talking.
today.
I would entertain a motion on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the request from the Marshall County Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence has requested the use of the courthouse grounds for a clothesline event April 29th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Mr. Chairman, I'd second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions, further questions? That's right, Tricia, do you have a group that's ready to, that's gonna be up here with that?
Yep, yep.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Gravenbauer.
Yes. All right. Moving on to item 15, public forum. This is time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in the public forum. Public?
Is it your birthday today?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I'd like to thank all the people who made it possible. I turned 57 today, and when you're 50, there's always a little bit of heaven when you turn 57.
I always knew you and I were the same age.
Yes. Thanks for bringing that up, Tom.
Yes, we got 3 more years before we turn 60.
And do we dare mention this?
Yes, we do.
We've got a.
Lisa's bracket?
That's winner, not wiener, to the press, if you were taking a photo of that.
Do we need to discuss the finer points of bracketology? Because you beat the boys.
I did. I was the only woman out of 5 men.
Moving on now
that
to the
won.
next item. Anybody else in the public? And congratulations, Lisa,
Thank you.
on your
Thank
$4 win.
The title is all worth it.
It's just all, now that you got your man card, it's all
That's
worth it.
right. I'm good.
Moving on to the adjournment, the next regular session is scheduled for April 19th on 2016 at 9 a.m. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the county auditor and recorder's office or the board of supervisors office by Thursday, April 14th, 2016 at 1 p.m. There be no further business to come before the board. We are adjourned at 9:26.